I'm 60 feet underwater, and the emerald forest just swallowed us whole. 3 of us dropped into Washington's Hood Canal expecting reef walls and wolf eels, and for a while, that's exactly what we found. Then, a cloud of tiny fish and krill so dense you can't see through it rolled over us and erased every reference point we had. We surfaced in the wrong spot, and the boat was nowhere near us. This is how getting lost underwater taught us the one lesson every diver needs: getting out of there. So let me back up. Early morning, Pleasant Harbor Marina. 3 of us loading gear onto Paul around. Captain Kelly runs the boat. Catherine guides the dives, and together they're our base camp out of the water and our guide in the water. Our Paul around charter takes you to different sites that you can't normally reach from shore. Think of a dive site like a trail in a national park, except the whole thing is underwater and every trail has its own wildlife. The Hood Canal in Washington State is a long, narrow fjord off the Puget Sound near Seattle. A flooded valley carved by glaciers with the Olympic Mountains rising on one side. The water temperatures here sit around 48 degrees Fahrenheit or about 9 degrees Celsius, so we're all in dry suits. A dry suit is like a waterproof onesie that keeps you dry and warm in water that would normally freeze you. It's kind of like, to me, an astronaut suit. Your BCD, the vest holding your cylinder, controls whether you float or sink. The regulator, the mouthpiece you breathe through, is the only thing between you and a lungful of ocean. Clip in, mask on, and ready to drop. We motor out to the dive site, Plawley Point, with the morning mist on the Olympics and the water flat as glass. And if you're enjoying this video, now's a great time to like and subscribe. This channel is all about scuba stories, dive adventures, and underwater encounters that bring you closer to the ocean. To start our dive, we roll off the boat and descend, and right away, the surface layer is rough. 3 feet, or about 1 meter, of visibility in the first top 20 feet, or 6 meters. Freshwater gets trapped at the surface here and turns everything murky and green. You can see from all my videos, it's a very nice color of green. Push through that layer though, and the world opens up. Below 50 feet, 15 meters, visibility jumps to 30 to 40 feet, or 9 to 12 meters, and suddenly, you're floating along a wall of rock that drops you into dark below. The dive site, Plawley Point, is a series of rocky fingers starting around 40 feet or 12 meters, cascading outward in walls and ledges that drop well past safe diving limits. The wall is colored in cover: orange sea cucumbers, purple anemones, kelp swaying in the faint current. It's like someone painted a cliff face and then submerged it. Schools of rockfish hang off the wall in open water like they're floating in air. Lingcod, big, predatory fish that look like they own the place, sit flat on the ledges watching everything pass. Now, the moment that stops you, the wolf eel. It's not actually an eel, it's a fish, and it looks like something from another planet. A big gray head, powerful jaws, a body up to 8 feet long, or rather about 2.5 meters. They can look fierce, but divers call them gentle giants. Mated pairs share dens in rock walls, and sometimes one just sits there in the opening of its cave, watching you watch it. And then one of them was fully outside its hole, just sitting there on an open rock, looking right at us with dark, calm eyes. That doesn't happen. Wolf eels almost always stay tucked inside their den, so seeing one out and open like that is the kind of thing divers talk about for months. You freeze, not from fear, because it's looking at you the way you look at something that just walked into your living room, and you realize you're the strange one here. We drift along the wall with good reference points and a good sense of navigation where we are relative to the boat. The reef can be so absorbing that it's easy to forget everything above you. Everything looks so foreign, and it's easy to lose track of where you are in relative position in the 3-dimensional environment of everything above you. It's very disorienting, but we made it back to the boat safely. After a surface interval, or rather the rest time between dives, we motor to our second site, the Pinnacle. And I'm starting to think about the navigation thing and about staying oriented, because the current starts to pick up on a ride over and the water already feels different. A pinnacle is an underwater mountain. Imagine a skyscraper growing up from the ocean floor. The top sits about 20 to 30 feet, or 6 to 9 meters, below the surface depending on the tide. A wide, flat area before the walls drop off the sides. We follow a tagline down from the boat onto the top of the pinnacle, and we immediately know it's immediately different. More wolf eels, more lingcod, steeper rock walls falling away into the deep blue, or rather the deep green. Then something changes. The light dims, the water darkens, and before it can even process what's happening, were inside it. A living cloud of tiny fish and krill so densely packed that the water becomes a wall of silver. You can't see your dive buddy. You can't see the reef. You can't see which way is back towards the boat. Your brain does something weird in that situation. You know which way is up because your bubbles go there, but forward, backward, left, right, all of it becomes a guess. When you lose visibility in a 3D environment, it starts to become very disorienting. The fish and krill swirled around us and we started to lose our sense of direction, and it just started to dissolve, just like that, inside the cloud. And the current started pushing us. The cloud was moving and we were moving with or without realizing it. By the time the fish thinned enough to see the dive site again, we were off our heading and running low on time. Now the real problem isn't the fish. It's what happens when you come up and nobody knows where you are. This is where a DSMB saves you, or rather the delayed surface marker buoy. Divers often just call it the safety sausage, and it's basically a flare for divers. A bright tube that you inflate underwater and send up to the surface on a reel so the boat can find you or see you, or any divers at the surface even. Without it, it can be very hard to track divers underwater. And if you surface, you are a very small head bobbing in the water, nearly invisible from any distance, especially for boats. So I deploy the safety sausage from 15 feet or about 4.5 meters during what divers call the safety stop, a few minutes at shallow depth before surfacing. The bright tube shoots up through the murk and breaks into the light above. We surface shortly and safely, but the boat is not next to us. The current had been moving us the whole time we were inside that cloud. We had no idea how far it carried us. It could be 60 feet or 20 meters, or it could be much further than that. Imagine we look around and couldn't see our boat as far as the eye can see. That's a scary feeling. In a fjord with mountains on both sides and chop on the surface, a boat looks very small, very fast, and a diver's head looks like nothing at all. But we break the surface and our first instinct is to spin around looking for the boat. Open water, mountains, the quiet that hits you when you realize you might just be floating out here with your two dive buddies and our inflatable tube, and nobody on the boat has spotted us yet. Then I see the boat. Off to our left, further than I would have liked, but there. Kelly's already watching. Our safety sausage did its job, but the surface was calm and there was no current. So we didn't wait for the boat to come to us, we just swam to the boat. Fins kicking, BCDs keeping us up, working back across the surface toward the hull. Not a panic swim, a nice casual swim back to the boat. The ocean doesn't pause while you sort yourself out. When we got back to the boat, we grabbed the ladder, hauled ourselves up, and Kelly helped us with our gear. We all exchanged a look that said, yeah, that's diving. Beautiful one moment, a little bit hectic on the next. Back on the boat, hoods off, gloves off, just sitting there with the particular kind of tired that only comes from being somewhere truly wild. A wolf eel looked us in the eye. We swam inside a living cloud of fish so thick it stole our sense of direction. We surfaced in the wrong spot and found our way back. That's across only 2 dives, one day, one glorious day of diving. The ocean is so full of moments like that, it doesn't even know what it's doing. You just show up, drop below the surface, and it starts handing them to you. There's so much down there waiting to be seen. And if you want to keep exploring, I'd watch this adventure next. The more you know, the more you'll love and protect the ocean. Until next time.